Mm.
like the game pick 'em for the week. Like you predict who's going to win.
Yeah, we could set something up afterwards. Oh, he cut out.
Okay. Right on set.
All right. We're here and we'll get started. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome in to opening week of the NFL season. We are here Thursday night gridiron here on the Sports Insanity Network's YouTube page. Mike Rifkin, Bill Murphy, joined tonight by John Haraska. Hopefully, Eric Ford and Danny Boy Reginald can hop back in. They are having internet problems, as it seems. But, gentlemen, good evening. Good to have football back. And Eric's back.
He's
How are we
here.
doing? Oh,
And
and
Dan
we get
here.
Dan simultaneous.
All right.
Now the party can get started.
Now we got it going.
All righty.
Good evening, Dan. How are you, my friend?
So pumped because the NFL season's here. I am live from the Big Apple, so it's Giants fever. How about that?
Go
Oh,
Vikings.
yeah.
Well, some of us may have bet the Vikings this week. So, all right.
Guys are back in the New York groove.
What was that, John?
Said I am cautiously optimistic.
Listen. It's week one. Everyone's optimistic. Eric's even optimistic, and he's a Jets fan.
And even Reg is optimistic.
Eric, we have to wait till Monday, and we're playing the stupid 49ers on the West Coast, even though it's going to be our time the game starts. But, like, still, it's going to be like, bruh. Like, why are we on Monday Night Football again? Why are we on Monday Night Football again? You know, we don't need to be on Monday Night Football.
Listen, maybe Aaron Rodgers will last 5 snaps this year. Who knows? I really get Eric.
For those of you who don't know, Eric and Reg are bitter Jet fans, so
I wouldn't use the word bitter around Dan, if I'll be honest. All right.
Okay, they're angry Jet fans.
But like we said, we're here. It's week one. And we got a great game to open up the season. It is a rematch from the AFC Championship game where the Kansas City Chiefs will look to begin their quest to three-peat, something we haven't seen since Tom Brady. And they will host the reigning MVP, Lamar Jackson, and the Ravens. So before we get into what happened in the AFC Championship game, Bill, I guess I'll start this with you.
Shoot.
Do you think the NFL did a really good job of giving the Chiefs a solid week one opponent here in the Baltimore Ravens?
Absolutely. Because what is a better way to open up this season with seeing two of the best quarterbacks in the NFL? You got Pat Mahomes versus Lamar Jackson. Like, this is the best opening week game that you could ask for.
Eric, you feel the same way?
I'm trying to think of a whole football baby. It's back. We back. I'm ready to go.
How do you feel about Chiefs Ravens being the opening game? You cool with that? Okay. All right, John.
Honestly, anytime you got a rematch of a highly anticipated game in the AFC Championship, no matter who's in it, is always highly anticipated. It'll 9 times out of 10 make for an amazing game. So I would say this is a solid kickoff.
Dan, I'm going to come with you with this one because you live down in the Maryland DMV area. Are Ravens fans kind of pumped up about this, looking for a little bit of revenge after last year?
More than, only because they obviously understand the heartbreak. The Ravens had a pretty damn good season, and it slipped away in the playoffs against a more experienced, I should say, Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. So obviously, Lamar didn't have such a great game that day. He made a ton of mistakes. Offense made a ton of mistakes. Defense didn't make the stops that they had to. So they're upset. They're very, very upset, as they should be. Look, a week one victory obviously is going to be great for them, and they certainly should go for the win. It's not going to make up for the championship loss, but a week one victory is always something to smile about, especially if you can do it on a Thursday, knowing that you have a long layoff before week two. You don't want to lose the game and all of a sudden, we had to wait 10 days and then we play again, and then it's a whole thing. So, yeah, that's where the mindset is sort of for the Ravens. And they look, they again have a good team ready to go. Lamar's ready to go. I don't know if they're going to have another season like they had last year, but I mean, you never know. It's always possible. Football's
they were the number one seed in the AFC last year. And, the one thing people said about Mahomes going into last year in the playoffs, he had never won on the road in the playoffs. Well, he went into Buffalo and he beat Josh Allen, and he went into Baltimore and beat Lamar. And, you talked about, Dan, Lamar didn't have his best game during the AFC title game, but the Ravens themselves didn't have a great game. 8 penalties, very un-Raven-like. And then one of the key plays was the Zay Flowers fumble in the end zone, which I believe at the time would have tied the game. So the Ravens look to get on track tonight as they go into Kansas City and play Mahomes, Kelsey, and apparently Taylor Swift will be in the building. So everybody who wanted to know about that, Taylor Swift should be in the building. All right. But Dan, you alluded to it. Maybe the Ravens don't have the same team as they did a year ago, but they made a huge splash this offseason, bringing in Derrick Henry.
That's huge.
And so you being down there, what do people expect from a Derrick Henry / Lamar Jackson offense?
Well, certainly more up tempo. Certainly, obviously, you're going to be running more. Lamar Jackson's a runner, primarily a runner. So you're going to see definitely more flip-flopping of running and throwing in a good way, though, because, it'll really, truly test how Lamar and his skills can really boost up in this new game. But look, they still have their big-time receivers. They still, they still have that aspect of the game as well. So the passing game is still going to be there, and it's just whether or not Lamar's going to flourish, which I have no doubt he will. Ravens fans are pumped. They're pumped. And I don't understand how they wouldn't be.
And they should have Mark Andrews in the lineup tonight as well. So
he was a big missing piece down the stretch at the end of the season. I remember when. That's one of the big things they complained about, not having that big tight end, that could really, really, separate their game a little bit. So,
yeah.
But my only question is, do we think Derrick Henry is going to be prime Derrick Henry again? Because we got to remember, prime Derrick Henry has been literally throwing grown men like they children. Grown men, like these guys are fathers, and he just throws them like little kids. It's one of the greatest things I've ever seen in life. Do we think he's going to come back to that?
But the real question is, how do you take an aging? Because let's be honest, he's aging, an aging Derrick Henry, like you said, Eric, because he is not as effective as he used to be. He's still a great running back. Heck, MVP candidate. probably a couple years ago, not too long ago. So, how do you take an aging Derrick Henry and, mesh it with a very young Lamar and other running backs as well? Like, how do you mesh that game in? Because they're two different personalities.
Well, I think this gives the Ravens a great punch because now we talk a lot about the zone read, and the zone read has become such a massive play in the game where now it's, do I have to worry about the speed of Lamar plus the power of Derrick Henry? You combine the two forces, all of a sudden, I actually think this benefits Lamar in the passing game because now those safeties might come down and say, okay, one of Lamar, Derrick Henry's going to get the ball. Meanwhile, I got Zay Flowers on the outside running a post, and if he gets by his corner, he's wide open. I think Derrick Henry's impact on this offense is going to be massive. And I'm not just saying that because Derrick Henry is massive.
Billy Boy.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to agree with you guys, and I'm also going to add this. Excuse
You okay, Bill?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Just need you, buddy.
He's all choked up
He's
like
choking
Daniel
like the
Jones
Giants choke every single year.
Sorry, I have a little bit of a frog in my throat.
You can make it to Sunday, Bill. Daniel
I can
Jones
make it to Sunday. Anyway,
He's choking like Daniel Jones tripped after running that free play.
God.
Anyway, what I was saying is I think Derrick Henry is also good. I'm going to add this, though. Derrick Henry is going to help Lamar because now this takes the run game off of Lamar now. And now this is going to put more on Derrick Henry. So are we going to see now more passing Lamar than running Lamar?
I still think you kind of split it, but I think you're right. I think the presence of Derrick Henry can help Lamar's running ability as well, because now you're not just thinking about Lamar. Where in the past it's, well, whether it's J.K. Dobbins or Gus Edwards, they're not Derrick Henry. John, you got thoughts here?
Honestly, I can't argue with you guys on that. Just with Lamar having been a running guy, like you guys said, the fact that they added a star running back in Derrick Henry, yes, he's aging, but at the same time, takes some of the burden off Lamar, can create a bit of a surprise attack if they decide to employ the passing game.
Yeah, so be interesting to see what Derrick Henry brings to the Ravens offense. But we'll continue with the Raven theme. We will get into the Chiefs talk in a second. But Bill, you are a part of the Blitzer questionnaire that we did for the network this preseason.
Yes.
And one of the questions asked by some amazing person who wrote it.
Way to be humble.
Who is the biggest threat to the Chiefs in the AFC? And your answer to that question would be...
Now let me talk here. Now let me talk.
Eric, hold on. Eric's going to talk.
Okay.
This is my specialty here because I've had this prediction since I want to say May. I've been holding on to this since about May of 2025. Trust me, I am talking really low, but act like I'm talking really loud, okay? Act like I'm talking really, really freaking loud here, okay? I need you to hear me. I need you to hear me not loud and clear. There's only three teams that could beat the Chiefs. There's only three teams that could upset the Chiefs and cancel them from having a three-peat. Other than that, they will have a three-peat. I'm saying this right now for kickoff, right before kickoff on September 5th, 2024. I'm saying this. These are the three teams. And again, hear me out. I don't care if I'm crazy. I don't care if I sound nuts. I don't care. I don't care about you. So anyway, here we go. Team number one, the Jets, if crap together. Jets, if they get their crap together. The Jets, if they get their crap together. We have a good defense. That defense is solid.
Elite.
Shut up. I don't care what anybody says. Defense will stop Mahomes. Okay. That defense will stop Mahomes. If the Jets will play hard, and then the Jets will actually live up to the expectations, they are going to do good. That's my one team. Then my number two team are the Steelers if they get their crap together. Either way, if it's Russell Wilson, if it's Cook and Wilson, if it's Wilson and Fields, I don't care who's on the field. That defense is something. If TJ Watt is on that field, is on that Steelers defense, and they gotta play him. I wouldn't want to play the Chiefs. I wouldn't want to play them. I wouldn't want to play them. That's not it. And my last team is Cincinnati Bengals. If Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are Superman, Joe Burrow is kryptonite. The Bengals have the Chiefs' money for some reason. I don't know how. I don't know why. But those are my three teams. The Jets if they get their crap together. The Steelers if they get their crap together, and Bengals.
I'd like to respond to that, Mike, if you don't mind.
Hold on, let me just recap. So you said the Jets, the Steelers, and the Bengals.
The Jets if they get their crap together. The Steelers if they get their crap together, and the Bengals.
So basically anybody if they get their crap together. Bill, you can respond.
No. Not anybody, Mike. Not anybody. Baltimore, we've seen them do it. They're not going to do it. They're done. I think we've seen what Baltimore can do. Houston's too young. Jacksonville is a sleeper team. Jacksonville's a sleeper team because of Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson and Andy Reid used to work together.
I'm going to give you credit on Jacksonville. I'll give you credit, but Bill, go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to respond. So you said the Jets, the Steelers, and the Bengals. Am I correct, Eric?
That's correct.
Okay. Jets, we got to see what Aaron Rodgers is going to do. But
like I said, that's if they get the crap together.
If he makes it to maybe 5 or heck, maybe even 6 snaps this season.
That's if they get the crap together, Bill.
But you know what? It's like, I don't think they're going to. And like, listen, they gave the Chiefs a run for their money on that on the Sunday night game they played last year. And I'll even admit it, Eric, the Jets got screwed with that penalty. They got absolutely screwed.
They did.
So that could go either way. The Steelers, if you think the Steelers are going to be a threat to the Kansas City Chiefs, Eric, my friend, I got a bridge to sell you. Because first their quarterback situation. Like, you've got Russell Wilson, and like, listen, he's got a lot to prove this year, and he's like this close to being a washed-up has-been. And that it hurts for me to say because I love Russell Wilson, and Mike Tomlin, they just set the bar so low so he could get another year there. But the thing is, I don't think the Steelers have a chance I don't know if the Steelers have a chance to be a threat to the Chiefs. And finally, the Cincinnati Bengals, I'll give you some credit on that because, but we got to see, how's Burrow going to be recovering from his injury? They have a new offensive coordinator because Brian Callahan is now in Tennessee. And we also got, and Tyler Boyd is gone, which is a small, you still got Higgins, and still got Jamar Chase, which that could be an issue because they're still going through contract stuff. And he might not be playing Sunday. But listen, I disagree with you. But what you said with Houston, they could have a chance, but let's let them settle for another year.
Houston's way too young.
Let's let them settle for another year because C.J. Stroud, I thought, did amazing last year. He was Offensive Rookie of the Year. And Jacksonville can be a sleeper team. But here's what I would say. Since you gave 3, I'm going to give 2. Mike, that cool?
We're just going to name the entire AFC, guys.
I'm going to say they're playing them tonight. I'm going to say, actually, no, I'm just going to say 1. The Baltimore Ravens. Okay. Because they got Lamar, because, Lamar versus Mahomes. This is like Brady versus Manning.
Well, it started out that one side. Mahomes is 4-1.
And, we could be, no, but look at it this way. Brady already had the rings before Peyton got one. And we're seeing this even with the tight ends. We got Travis Kelce, the future Mr. Taylor Swift. And we got Mark Andrews in Baltimore. So we got two of the best tight ends in NFL, two of the best quarterbacks. So I honestly think the Ravens, they're playing their biggest competition tonight. They're playing their biggest competition tonight. And the one I was thinking about, but I don't really think it's gonna happen, is the Buffalo Bills. Stephon Diggs.
He's going to say that. I knew he was
Yeah,
going
because
to
I
say
thought you said the Bills the first time. I thought you said the Bills the first time.
Played the Chiefs. Sorry. 1 second. The Bills have played the Chiefs how many times in the playoffs? And they choke. The Bills are going to choke. They're not going to do anything this year.
No, but no,
So we got a Ravens and we got a Steelers, Jets, Bengals parlay.
Pretty much, but you know what? I was thinking the Bills though, Eric, but now I'm thinking Stephon Diggs is gone, and how is Buffalo gonna look? How is that offense gonna look without Stephon Diggs for Josh Allen?
All right, I'm gonna get someone else in here. John, who do you think is the biggest threat to the Chiefs in the AFC?
Oh, that. I gotta say, either the Ravens or the Jets, if we're going exclusively AFC teams.
Okay.
And I'm saying this as a Giants fan. Like Aaron Rodgers, yes, some say he's not like 100% healed from his Achilles tendon injury, but like he's 90+% healed. Even if you have 90% Aaron Rodgers, you're going to be kicking some serious ass on the gridiron.
That's fair.
So say what you will about the man's personality, but you cannot deny that he is a hell of a quarterback. He will provide a much needed injection of life to the Jets offense, I feel like.
Okay.
And the Ravens, we were just discussing that, and we're going to be getting into it more in detail later, how much of a big opponent they are for the Chiefs this year. And shoot, they're getting the hard part out of the way early, these two.
Dan?
Within the AFC?
Within the AFC. I'm not going throughout the league.
All right. The Bengals.
Oh, okay.
Bengals, I think they could bounce back. They have a healthy Burrow in the season. They have a good defense. Always a good offense. I think they'll scare the Chiefs off a little bit. Just to give them room for their money a little bit. Non-division matchup, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So, you always got to look there, because if you look at that division, you have the Chargers, you have the Raiders, you have the Broncos. They don't scare you. Bengals can scare me. They're in the same division as the Ravens. That's a great division.
Yeah. That's the best division of football.
So, I'm just saying, if you're looking within the AFC North, obviously the Ravens are a big time. They can't pose a threat. But don't sleep on the Bengals. They've done it before. They've beaten them before. Just saying.
Well, that's why I agree with you, Dan. They've done it before. That's the ultimate key to all of this. They've gone into Kansas City and they've won a playoff game. Eric and you both brought up the point Joe Burrow being healthy. Bill, you brought up the point about Jamar Chase's contract. He looks like he's going to play Sunday. Thank God for my fantasy team.
Okay, I think Mike just froze.
Oh no, Mike crashed. No. Okay.
So if they can stay healthy, I think it's the Bengals. But if you, am I good?
You keep cutting in and out.
Keep talking.
Keep talking, Mike.
So if you want a deep sleeper here, because I know Eric brought up the Steelers and the Jets, and we should drug test him for that alone. How about the Cleveland Browns?
Well, don't disrespect the Jets. Hold up.
No. But they haven't gone to the playoffs in how many years?
That doesn't matter.
You said,
but I'm
you
more so
said-
concerned about the Steelers than I was the Jets.
Okay,
No, I'm being honest.
I get that, but don't just be like, well, the Jets are absolute nobodies.
I'm not saying they are. First of all,
but you said you drug tested me on the Steelers, but you have the Browns. Yes, the Browns have a great defense. They have a great team, but they're only going to go as far as quarterback.
listen,
Rashad's therapy is going to let them.
Listen, if Deshaun Watson struggles, he's got all the money in the world to get more massages. That's going to be the problem. And eventually they're going to get Nick Chubb back. I do think we're sleeping a little bit on Cleveland. They have Amari Cooper and Jerry Jeudy now at receiver.
I don't want to sleep on Cleveland, but
listen,
the fact of the matter is Deshaun Watson he's not playing to the best of his availability.
But they're good. If you let me finish the point, he has to play to the best of his abilities if they want to be considered that. They're the ones who gave him $230 million. They're the ones who kicked Drew Carey out of Cleveland. They have to figure this thing out sooner rather than later. So if Cleveland sucks, guess what? The $230 million man might be out of a job because old man Joe Flacco outplayed him last year. The pressure's on Deshaun Watson. But if he can revert back to Houston Deshaun Watson, the Cleveland Browns have a legitimate chance at this thing. Man, we really went through the AFC there.
Hey, that was a fun one.
I agree.
All right. All right, let's get into the Chiefs a little bit. We talked about they're on their quest to potentially three-peat. So, Dan, I'll start with you here. If the Chiefs three-peat, would that put Patrick Mahomes over Tom Brady in the GOAT conversation?
No.
Okay. What would he have to do to take over that conversation?
Win 4 in a row. Then conversation. No. I'm not quite there with Mahomes yet.
Okay.
I think Mahomes still has to win a few more, and by a few more, even if he wins like 2 more and gets to what would that be? That would be what? That would be 5, right? So even if he gets 2 more, like I think Mahomes would be considered to go, but it also depends on how he plays, because Tom Brady, his past couple Super Bowls, had a big defensive help a little bit. So if Mahomes goes off and has an explosive offensive game, I think that would matter more in the quarterback conversation for sure. But here's one thing that I will say about Mahomes. This kid is one of the, especially in the modern day, one of the best quarterbacks I've ever seen play. He's a smart quarterback. He understands how to win. He certainly has the mentality to keep winning and doesn't take bullshit. So that definitely does separate from many others. So no, not quite, but he's getting there. Like if he wins 3 more and is still as explosive, you're talking about years ahead of Tom Brady's time. That's something that you can't ignore.
Okay, so would anyone put Mahomes over Brady if he were to three-peat this year? Or does he still have more to prove? You would put him over Brady, Bill.
Yeah, Billy Boy.
Yes, because you know what? Has any quarterback ever won 3 in a row? Please, anyone answer that.
No, but
I mean, at the end of the day, does it really matter how many rings a quarterback wins?
Yeah.
Yes, it does. But the thing is, you really got to look at. And I think Reg made a good point here. Is that yes, a lot like the last 2 of his games, the last 2 of his Super Bowls was a huge defensive help, and thing is, like, as a quarterback, if you're a quarterback in the Super Bowl, you're not always supposed to be like, hey, F it. Someone's down there somewhere and just chuck it. The last two Super Bowls for Mahomes, he played smart. He was really smart. He wasn't saying, see you down there somewhere. Fucking it. He played really smart football.
Yeah,
I
he
think
does play smart
that's
football, and
and I
like
think that's the key here. And Brady did so. Brady did as well. We all know Brady has a cannon of an arm, but he played really smart football. He was like he didn't need to throw it because my defense is doing the work. I just need to run it and make plays up my team. So it's not just about being in an offensive juggernaut, but it's all about playing smart.
I can agree with you on that. I can absolutely, and Mahomes does play smart. And like, listen, last year, I'll be honest, he was a regular season wise, he was a little underwhelming. He was a little underwhelming last year. But he really kicked it into gear when it came to the playoffs. And like, listen, and the thing is, if he wins 3 in a row, Brady hasn't done that. Montana hasn't done that. So I think Mahomes would eat. And listen, I see what both of you are getting at. If Pat Mahomes wins 3 in a row, he's either the GOAT or close to it.
Well, here's the thing.
No, the thing.
Joe Montana has a state named after him. Call me when Patrick Mahomes gets that.
I'm sure that state's not named after Joe Montana, Mike.
Yeah, I know, but it could work. But back to the playing smart thing that Eric brought up. What's been the key in the last two Super Bowls? Mahomes' running ability. We don't talk about that enough.
Yeah.
We talk about the arm and how great it is.
Or his ability to analyze the game. I think it's better than Brady.
Yeah. He thinks on his feet. He has great hair, and he has the ability to run. He's really developed as a great quarterback. And you got to give credit to the Chiefs for sitting him that rookie year and letting Alex Smith take control. So, all right.
John, you chime in.
I gotta say, like you guys said, Patrick Mahomes, I feel like is a lot more analytical than Brady. Plays smart all the time. His arm he's got a cannon, I tell you what. But his run game can be a dark horse for anyone who's knocking on Kansas City's door. And if he manages to three-peat, he goes right around the same level as Tom Brady. He wins one more, even if it's not in a row, that'll surpass him without a doubt.
All right. Good call.
The fact that we're having this conversation too is
yeah, we're getting into an era, not just in football but in sports, where the GOAT conversation, it's getting very interesting.
It could flip flop at any time. That's the weird part too.
Very much so. All right. So before we get into game picks for tonight, because we will cover a little bit of tomorrow night's game too, give me an X factor for each of these teams for the season, not just for tonight, but throughout the season. Bill, I'll start it with you.
I think for both of them, I think it's very simple. I think it's
outside of health.
I didn't. Never mind. I'm gonna say for the Baltimore Ravens, it's going to be Lamar Jackson, and for the Kansas City Chiefs, it's going to be Pat Mahomes.
All right, John.
Come back to me on that one. I'm still thinking.
Okay, nope, go. Dan.
I think you said both these teams, right?
Both these teams.
Well, for the Ravens, it's the play of Lamar. I really think without the quarterback, they stink. That's the tough toughest thing to say because the Ravens are actually a good team on paper, but the quarterback matters. So him, I think how they play their offensive game is going to be big too. And for the Chiefs, I think with the Chiefs, the biggest thing I need to see is, the regular season. Because far too many times we've seen the Chiefs have good to subpar or regular season, subpar to good regular season, I should say. But can they ever have a great regular season where there's like promise?
No, that's fair.
So I'm gonna go with that.
Mr. Ford.
I'm gonna go with for the Ravens, that's definitely Lamar Jackson. I think he needs to play a little bit smarter this time. Not just running it every single play, but he does have a decent arm. Man. Some people say he has an arm better than Vic. I disagree, but he does have a decent arm. I would like to see him like kind of balance it out between his arm and his speed. I think if he does that, he definitely has a shot to make it to the big game in New Orleans, or if not New Orleans, not this year, next year. I'd say a good balance between his arm and his speed, huge factor. Because if he's running all the time, he's only got like maybe 2 3 years left. He needs to really utilize that arm because your body can only take so much wear and tear. As for the Chiefs, it's very simple. It's not Pat Mahomes. It's not the O-line. It's not the defense. It's not Travis Kelce. It's not Taylor Swift. I'm sorry, Swifties. It is simply wide receivers. If though they need to catch from Mahomes, simple as that. They got rid of Kadarius Butterfingers Tony, which really helped them out. They have like old past their prime receivers, but they can though. So I can't complain about that. Hollywood Brown is again he's speedy, but he's not any so I would say their wide receivers is really going to be their factor. And if they can like catch it and play and speed on the field and not off the field, I think they're going to make a huge impact on the field, not off the field. I don't want the speed all off the field because we can see what happens. But yeah.
All right. Well, to your point, I'm looking for the Chiefs receivers as well. Especially Xavier Worthy, the first round pick out of Texas, the man who crushed it at the combine. I think he's a major X factor. And for the Ravens, I'm gonna lean similar position. Who on the outside can make some plays for Lamar? So teams aren't just ganging up on Mark Andrews and Derrick Henry. Can Zay Flowers have another really good year? Can Rashad Bateman stay healthy? That would be really beneficial for the Ravens. John, have you thought about it?
I have. For the Chiefs, okay, and mine are going to be a little unorthodox, but I think for the Chiefs, Mahomes, obviously, you got to protect him. And that means you got to get your O-line to make sure that they're putting in those blocks where they need to. And I think offensive tackle, Kingsley, I'm going to butcher this last name. Say again?
Sumiata, the rookie?
Yeah, that guy. Because he's just been an impressive physical specimen throughout the preseason. You can put him against just about, dare I say, anybody. And yes, the NFL jump, like from college to the pros, can be difficult for rookies. whether you're on the lower or higher end of the ability, but if he can rise to the occasion, Kansas City is going straight to the AFC title game.
All right.
And for the Ravens, they don't have their defensive coordinator from last season, McDonald, who's now the head coach of the Seahawks.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm fairly certain their defense was a big part of what got them as far as they got last year. So it'll be interesting to see how the Ravens fare both tonight and throughout the season without him.
All right. Bill, last word, make it quick.
Yeah, well, I think the real X factor, I'm just going to elaborate a little more. I think it's going to be the O-line for the Kansas City Chiefs because they got to protect Pat Mahomes. You know they got to protect Pat Mahomes at all times. And for the Ravens, I think what's going to be a big factor is Lamar Jackson is going to have to pass more because you know a lot of these defenses, especially the ones tonight, you know they're going to try to, you know, that they know he's a runner. So he's going to have to give the ball to Derrick Henry more.
All right. So there's that. So we'll go quickly around. Who do we like tonight? Ravens, Chiefs. Dan, I'll start with you.
Ravens.
Ooh, okay.
I'm all in on the Ravens.
All right. John?
It's going to be a thriller for sure, but I'm going to go with the Ravens.
Wow. All right.
A high-scoring thriller at that.
Michael Jackson's Thriller?
All
right. Bill?
I'm going to go with the Ravens as well.
Wow. All right, Eric stepped away for a moment. I'm going to take Andy Reid in Kansas City at home. As great of I do think this will be a great game. I'm going to take KC at home. Eric, who do you like tonight?
It's going to be a close score game. It's going to be a tight game. Pause. It's going to be a very close score game. It's going to be won by a field goal. It's going to be won by the ladies' lover himself, Harrison Butker.
Oh boy! Oh boy! Not opening up that.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Okay.
We talked about that on the podcast months ago. Go listen to that.
I'm getting canceled, but no, but regardless, he's going to kick a field goal. 24-23 Chiefs.
Okay.
Okay. So
take it.
It's gonna be a close one.
So that's tonight. We also have a game tomorrow night in Brazil for some reason. We got the Packers taking on the Eagles. Two teams who ended last year very differently. The Packers made the playoffs in the year one of the Jordan Love era. Then they made him a very rich man. The Eagles started hot, ended their season on a downward spiral, including a crushing loss to the Bucs in the playoffs. So, guys, how much pressure is going to be on Philly to turn this thing around quickly after ending last year with such a bad taste in their mouth? John, I'll start with you.
I'm sorry, repeat that. It cut a little.
How much pressure is on Philly to start off strong, seeing how last year ended?
Oh, an immense amount. But I will say this, with the addition of Saquon Barkley, who, in my opinion, got kind of shafted by the Giants, but with Saquon Barkley now on there, he's an awesome running back. I think that he is going to be a threat in the NFC East.
Bill?
I think there is going to be a lot of pressure on the Eagles coming back from last year because you also got to look at it this way. John just brought up Saquon Barkley as a Giant fan that I'm still very upset about. He's gonna give the running game a new life. Also in the receiving core, you got Jahan Dotson, but you can't just look at the players. You also got to look at the coaching too. I think Nick Sirianni is going to be on the hot seat this year. I think you got to look, and they've just changed offensive and defensive coordinators. Say it with me again. This year you got Vic Fangio and Kellen Moore, and I hope that Kellen Moore, and it's a shock that this man hasn't had a whole head coaching gig yet. I think Kellen Moore can work well with Jalen Hurts. But I think there is a lot of pressure on Philly right now because you start the season 10-1 and then you lose your five out of the last 6 games, and then you get bumped in the wild card.
All right. Dan and Eric, I'm going to come to you with something else. We talked about Jordan Love and how well he played last year, and then he got paid. Are we thinking it was a little too early? Do we expect a regression? Or do we expect Jordan Love to play as well as he did last year?
I'm banking on Jordan Love to be stronger,
Okay,
better than he was last year. Yeah, I'm not a fan of paying people. I mean, look, I get it. You had to sign a new contract. I mean, but I just think that 1 year of good football, his first year of starting, I even though I got enough to say yes, he is definitely Packers quarterback of the future. He definitely took those years under Rodgers seriously and learned how to be a good quarterback, how to be a winning quarterback. But my big thing is I needed for this season to see how he truly does. Does he grow or does he shrink? Does he regress? I think he's going to grow. I think he gets stronger. I think he's better. And he looks locked in. And the Packers have a better team than they did last year. A team that won a playoff game. Man.
Mr. Ford?
I don't think this will be a situation, another team paying a lot of money for and a below average quarterback over a top talent running back. This is not like that team at all. Not like the other New York team. Not the upstate New York team. I'm talking about the other New York team. That's not the Jets. So I just want to say that right now. I just gotta pour salt in that wound. I think it's going to be a scenario where Love is. I'm banking on Love, just like Reggie Boy here.
Okay.
I'm banking on him. I think he's going to be really good. He not only beat the Cowboys, he dominated the Cowboys, but again, it's the Cowboys. So I hope old Oscar is listening to me right now. I see. But yeah, I'm banking on Love right now. I think he's going to be the quarterback of the future for Green Bay.
All right. So you guys brought up Saquon going to Philly. The Packers have a new running back in Josh Jacobs. So just really quickly around the room, who has the better year?
Saquon.
Right.
Saquon.
Okay.
I want to go to an Eagles game, and you never hear me say that again in my life. I really want to go to an Eagles game, play because I think that's going to be. He's going to use some beautiful calves paws. It's that team, man. He is going to be awesome. He actually has an O line that he lives. He's going to.
And both guys will help their quarterback in the, again, zone read game. My biggest question on Saquon even though I just took him out of fantasy league, is going to be his health.
I don't know. That is a big concern.
That's a huge concern. But listen, he knows the division. I'm not going to say anything negative. Saquon, we need you healthy. Mainly for my fantasy team, but we'll divulge. All right. Of these two teams, which is the bigger threat to the 49ers in the NFC?
All of them.
What was that, Eric?
All of them.
You think both of these two teams?
Yeah, I don't. I think the Niners will have a down year this year.
Okay.
I think on paper the Eagles are a bigger threat than
the Packers.
To the 49ers, because you got Jalen Hurts, one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Like we just talked about him, Saquon Barkley with the run game, the receiver team, Devontae Smith, AJ Brown. I hate to say this as a diehard Giants fan, but I think on paper the Eagles are a bigger threat.
Okay. Dan and John.
I'll say Eagles for the same reasons as you guys. The quarterback, there's not the O-line, excuse me, the receivers. If Saquon stays healthy, Eagles are going to go on an absolute friggin' tear. Just
right.
Yeah.
I think
Dan.
To the Niners, I think the Niners are going to have a Super Bowl hangover.
Well, I'm using the Niners because they were the team that represented the NFC.
Who I think is the bigger threats? I think the Lions.
Oh no, I'm talking about these two teams, the Packers and Eagles.
I'm so sorry. I completely zoned out.
Welcome to my world.
If I had to pick and choose, I'd pick the Eagles.
Patchy, I want you to remember this when you listen to this. I'm going to say the Packers.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, the Packers gave the Niners all they could handle last year in the playoffs. So I'm going to say
that was a close game. I tell you what.
That's a fair point.
So, and Philly's got to prove something to me early. That they're not thinking about last year, that they're not thinking about the cheesesteaks or the fact that the Phillies are going to choke in the playoffs or that they're getting ready for Joel Embiid to get eliminated by the Knicks again.
Yeah, and then they'll ship their asses to New Jersey. You see that report?
Yeah, I saw that report. So I'm going to go the Packers. All right. Very quickly, who do you like in tomorrow night's game, Bell?
You guys would never think you'd hear me say this, but I'm going to take the Eagles on this one.
Okay. John?
And Eric, the band is better.
Who do I think is going to win?
Yes. Who are you picking for tomorrow?
Who I want to win? The Packers.
Want and pick two different things. Dan?
Eagles. But I'm with John. I want the Packers to win. I want
the Packers too. So
I want chaos. Eric for it.
Hell yeah.
Eric?
I just want to really specify here that Bill is a legitimately Eagles fan. He's just hiding. There's an Eagles poster right behind the Giants poster.
You want to come and see it? You want to come remove the poster?
If I see a pair of wings that day.
Listen, I see a Donovan McNabb jersey somewhere in there.
Damn, I secreted out. Oh, God, no.
I do believe I think the Eagles have the upper advantage here. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think 31-29.
Ooh, we got a doozy.
Yeah, I'm going to take Philly as well. Just, I trust them in this spot. I don't know why, but I do. Also, it might make the old ops guy angry, so that's also a positive. All right. that'll do it for the week 1 edition of the Thursday Night Gridiron. John, Eric, thank you for joining us. The door is always open. Dan, you want to give the socials?
Socials at S Insanity Real on Facebook and X. Terrible name, but X.
Elani.
Yeah. Please follow us on the YouTube. You're watching us right here now. So all you gotta do is hit that subscribe button. And of course, sign up for notifications as well. And then the sportsinsanitynetwork.com. Please visit all of our great internet platforms. We appreciate you. We love you. And stay tuned. We got more football content coming. The season has begun.
We ready?
Yeah. We'll see you Sunday morning for Sunday Sideline Report. Everyone enjoy the game tonight and throw them up later.
Peace.